And of course, children. I mean, we don't live in a democracy here. We live in a pedocracy, namely the children are in power. And this is how I think Israelis like it, and certainly I do. The only people I'm willing really to listen to are my children, because they know me and they don't take me too seriously. And you have enough self-confidence to protect what you have, and to be willing to use force if there is no other way, and to give legitimacy to it. And when you look at the war that is waged against Israel, not only the physical war, but also the psychological and political war, the Israelis consider with, I think, justified contempt both what international organizations are saying about Israel. I mean, the United Nations, where the Saudis accuse Israel of not treating women well enough, and the Europeans that abstain from these votes in the United Nations, and so-called human rights organizations that only know the human rights of terrorists, not of their victims. Only terrorists have human rights, others don't. And now I come to the conclusion, because Gadi is already threatening me and saying that the Europeans have all these excuses of what they cannot do in order to justify the fact that they want to capitulate. Because you get up in the morning in Europe, you look out the window, you say, what a beautiful day, who can I capitulate to today? And in order to justify it, you have to say that force doesn't work. And Israel demonstrates that if you have to use force, and you use force, it works, so you don't have to capitulate. Take the Second Intifada. I don't think any civilized society has ever been under a terrorist attack like Israel in the Second Intifada. So we went out and broke their faces and brought down terrorism 98%. And it worked. And this is an insult to Europe, because they say you can't deal with it with force. Now, I'm not speaking about solution. The only thing that has a solution is a crossword puzzle. I'm saying about bringing terrorism down from an unacceptable level to an acceptable level. And we've done it by force, and you are not ashamed of it, and you don't feel guilty about it. And this is a threat to European identity, because it says a civilized person doesn't have to capitulate. He has an option to stand for something. And therefore, I understand why they don't like us. And I'm very proud that they don't like us. And one last comment here. Vis-a-vis Europe, Israel has a problem, but no dilemma. The problem is that the European can hurt us, and to some extent they do hurt us, much less than they can, but they do. But we have no dilemma, because whatever they can do to us is not as bad as listening to them. If God forbid we would have listened to the Europeans, Saddam Hussein would have had nuclear weapons, because it's against Article 27, Section A of some document that I won't even bother to read. And Assad would have had nuclear weapons, and suicide terrorists would be roaming the streets of Tel Aviv. So listening to the Europeans is not an option. And this insults them, and it should. And I'm delighted.